Action off Cartagena, Spain. 19th December 1796. Battle area 8 by 4 inch. Wind from southeast. Deployment. The British will deploy 2 frigates of 4th or 5th rates. 1 frigate must be commanded by Nelson. 500 points. The Spanish deploy 2 frigates of 4th to 6th rates, 300 points. Starting on turn 2, Spanish reinforcements can arrive. These consist of 2 small 5th-rate frigates and a standard 1st rate. The British deploy in the red area on the center of the map, Spanish in the yellow area. 13 inch from the table edge and 16 or wide. Spanish reinforcements will arrive with stern touching the edge of the board in the northeastern area marked in yellow, 16 inch from top of the board. Special. Weather is calm. After turn 1, start rolling for Spanish reinforcements. Turn 2 on a 5-6. Turn 3 on 4-5-6. Turn 4 on 3-4-5-6. Turn 5 on 2-3-4-5-6. Turn 6, no roll needed. Victory conditions. British victory will be achieved by capturing at least 1 Spanish frigate and escaping on the map's southwestern edge marked in red, 16 inch from bottom of the board. Spanish victory is achieved by either destroying or capturing both British frigates, or alternatively recapturing a frigate taken by the British before Spanish reinforcements arrived. Historical background. The action of the 19th of December 1796 was a minor naval engagement of the French Revolutionary Wars, fought in the last stages of the Mediterranean campaign between 2 British Royal Navy frigates and 2 Spanish Navy frigates off the coast of Murcia. The British squadron was the last remaining British naval force in the Mediterranean, sent to transport the British garrison of Elba to safety under the command of Commodore Horatio Nelson. Nelson's force comprised HMS Minerve and HMS Blanche. HMS Minerve was a 38-gun former French ship captured at the action of the 24th of June, 1795, commanded by Captain George Cockburn, the crew augmented by a detachment from the 18th Regiment of Foot. Due to carronades not being counted towards the 38, she actually carried close to 50 guns. HMS Blanche was a 32-gun 12-pounder frigate, but also this ship carried a few carronades. I used my HMS Endymion model for the HMS Minerve and my HMS Surveillant as the HMS Blanche. At 10 p.m. on the 19th of December, Nelson's squadron was off the coast of Murcia off Cartagena when he sighted a squadron of 2 Spanish frigates, the 40-gun Sabina and 40-gun Ceres. This squadron was commanded by Captain Don Jacobo Stewart, reputed the best officer in Spain. We have modified ship stats slightly to better match the historical counterparts. Sabine and Ceres ended up with 40 ship points, while HMS Blanche ended up with 32. We also ran with our usual house rules whereby, among other things, the British lost their +1 to all gunnery. We have found that this makes for gameplay, which we find more fun. Sabina was captured in the following engagement, and Ceres reportedly struck its colors, but did not stop the withdrawal until it came within sight of a larger Spanish squadron. This force included frigates Matilda and Perla and the 112-gun first-rate ship of the line Príncipe de Asturias. Outnumbered, HMS Blanche pulled back as the squadron advanced on Minerve and Sabina. To prevent the damaged Minerve being overrun, Culverhouse took the prize Sabina into the path of the Spanish, prominently displaying the British flag over the Spanish. Through careful maneuvers, Sabina was able to distract and delay the Spanish enough to allow Nelson to escape, refusing to surrender until the remaining masts had fallen overboard. think also my opponent Marcus, playing the Spanish in this game, has done a great job painting his ships. Both the British and the Spanish placed their frigates close to the eastern edge of the setup area, both trying for the weather gauge. On turn 1, the British squadron set full sails trying to get close to the Spanish according to Nelson's motto. No captain can do very wrong if he places his ship alongside that of the enemy. As the HMS Minerve opened up on the Sabina, the range was just out of 8-inch, but inside of 10. As it was an initial broadside, she also has a couple of extra dice for her guns. She scored several hits, causing 9 points of damage, also rolling 3 dice rolls of 1, possible critical hits. Using our house rules, heavy guns score a crit after rolling a 1 if you also roll a 1 on a D3 dice range being over 10-inch. Under 10-inch is a score of 1 to 3 on a D6 dice. Below 3-inch the initial 1 is enough. Light guns can score a crit outside of 10-inch. Under 10-inch they score a hit on a roll of 1 on a D3 dice, and below 3 the initial 1 is enough. Carronades score a crit on a score of 1 to 3 on a D6 dice after the initial roll of 1 unless the range is below 3-inch, then as with the other guns the initial 1 is enough. Sabina responded in kind, opening up on the HMS Minerve. Just out of 3-inch range she scored 10 points of damage. There was no change in wind direction for turn 2, and the larger Spanish squadron did not arrive. The British squadron set battle sails, and the HMS Minerve engaged the enemy more closely, opening up with a broadside at below 3-inch. Any damage scored at this range is doubled. 10 points of damage was done, and after doubling and musket fire the Sabina was hit for 23 points. She also had another 3 points of damage done to her due to a critical hit, and her gun crew temporarily knocked out of action on that side, due to another critical hit. After this the Sabina had to make a test to see if she would strike her colours, which she did by rolling a 3 when a 5 or 6 was needed. HMS Blanche opened up on the series, scoring 6 points of damage. Avoiding a collision with the now struck Sabine, the series maneuvered around and managed another broadside on the HMS Minerve, scoring another 10 points of damage. There was no change in wind direction for turn 3, but the larger Spanish squadron arrived just in time to help out with the battle. Now the HMS Minerve turned her attention to the series, giving her a close-range broadside and musket fire, scoring 23 points of damage after doubling due to close range. The series failed her skill test and was forced to strike her colors. The HMS Blanche successfully grappled the Sabine and took her in the ensuing boarding action. She sent over a prize crew and the British colors were hoisted. Príncipe de Asturias and her attending frigates the Matilda and Perla set full sails, trying to close on the two British frigates and their prize. There was no change in wind direction for turn 4. The Spanish ships closed at full sails, while the British ships struggled with getting clear of the wreckage and managing some repairs. This is the situation stat-wise after turn 4. The Sabine has just 12 ship points worth of prize crew and needs to try to get away as fast as she can. Scrambling to get away, Sabine crashes into the wreckage of the series, causing a collision. She is now also wrecked. There is no change in wind direction for turn 6. The Matilda manages a long-range broadside on the HMS Blanche, scoring 3 points of damage, but also starting a fire on board her due to a critical hit, which does another 1 point of damage. The HMS Blanche promptly manages to put the fire out during its action by focusing all hands on the task, getting an additional +2 to the skill test. There is no change in wind direction for turn 7. HMS Minerve enters the fray after having done a U-turn of the board, missing one turn. On turn 8, the wind has changed direction and is now blowing straight from the east. Príncipe de Asturias opens up with a long-range partial broadside, scoring 2 points of damage on the HMS Minerve, but failing to do any critical damage. HMS Minerve fires on the Perla, scoring damage, which is then retired in at fire as she bears a broadside from the Perla. HMS Blanche focuses her efforts on repairs and manages to repair some damage. Turn 9 starts with Príncipe de Asturias firing a long-range broadside, scoring 10 points of damage. HMS Minerve does a successful wearing maneuver, creeping up on the Spanish frigates with the weather gauge. The Matilda fires a broadside on HMS Blanche, but fails to score any damage. HMS Blanche responds in kind, but gets much closer and scores 20 points of damage, also damaging the Matilda's rudder. On turn 10, the HMS Minna manages to rake the Pearl astern. This proves too much and she is wrecked. This leaves the Matilda alone with the two British frigates, as by now the Principe de Asturias has been left far behind. HMS Minna fires a partial broadside, but this proves enough and the last of the Spanish frigates are wrecked. The battle is a draw as neither side managed to succeed in their respective criteria for winning the battle. The British frigates did a lot of damage to the Spanish squadron, however, and as a whole the battle played out pretty closely to the actual historical battle. Both players were happy. If we would change anything, it would possibly be to limit the selection of frigates to only 5th rates. However, a large deciding factor was luck and all of the abilities that Nelson brings as a special character. That is all, folks. I hope I will see you for the next one. If you haven't subscribed and like the content of this channel, please consider doing so, and don't forget to give the video a like.